She stared at the marriage contract with trembling hands, feeling as though every dream she had ever carried was being erased by the ink waiting for her signature. The bright morning sunlight poured through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the luxury penthouse, making the city sparkle with life, yet everything inside her felt dark and hopeless. Her family was drowning in debt, her father's business had collapsed, and the only way to save everyone she loved was to marry a man she barely knew. She believed she was signing away her freedom forever. But fate had already begun writing a completely different story. Before the day was over, the man everyone feared would lean close enough for only her to hear and softly whisper, "You're mine." Those two words did not sound like a threat. They sounded like a promise that would change everything. Before we continue this emotional journey, if you believe kindness, forgiveness, and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise. Your support helps these heartfelt stories reach more people around the world. Marisol Hayes had always believed that love should never be forced. She dreamed of finding someone who would admire her for her heart instead of her family's wealth or reputation. But dreams rarely survive when life becomes desperate. After her father's financial empire collapsed because of betrayal from trusted partners, creditors closed in from every direction. Their beautiful family home was about to be taken away, and every day brought another painful reminder that everything they had built over decades was disappearing. When influential businessman Adrian Vale offered to settle every debt in exchange for a temporary marriage contract, her father broke down in tears. He hated himself for even considering the offer, but he saw no other path left for his family. Marisol watched the strongest man she had ever known cry for the first time in her life, and in that heartbreaking moment, she quietly chose to sacrifice her own happiness. The wedding took place on a warm spring morning beneath clear blue skies. Everything looked perfect to the outside world. White roses decorated the elegant hall, musicians played beautiful melodies, and photographers captured smiles that hid unbearable pain. Guests admired the handsome groom dressed in a tailored black suit and the graceful bride wearing a breathtaking white gown. Nobody could see the fear hidden behind Marisol's gentle smile. Everyone believed she had married into unimaginable luxury. Only she knew that every step toward the altar felt like walking away from the future she had once imagined. Adrian remained calm throughout the ceremony. Newspapers often described him as cold, calculating, and impossible to understand. He rarely smiled during interviews and preferred silence over unnecessary conversations. Many believed he cared only about business, power, and success. Marisol expected him to treat their marriage like another corporate agreement. She prepared herself for loneliness inside a beautiful mansion filled with strangers. Instead, something unexpected happened from the very first day. Although Adrian kept his distance, he quietly noticed everything. He instructed the household staff never to disturb her privacy. He made sure fresh flowers filled the room she used most because he had overheard that she loved gardens. He arranged for her father to receive the best medical care without announcing who had paid the bills. Whenever reporters tried to spread cruel rumors about her family, Adrian's legal team stopped them before the stories reached the headlines. He never asked for gratitude, never mentioned his efforts, and never expected recognition. Marisol struggled to understand him. Why would a man who supposedly married her for business reasons care about such personal details? She searched for hidden motives but found only quiet acts of compassion. Still, fear refused to disappear completely. The marriage contract remained locked inside her bedroom drawer, reminding her that their relationship had an expiration date. Every time she looked at it, her heart grew heavier. Weeks passed beneath bright summer sunshine. During charity events, Adrian always allowed Marisol to choose the causes they supported. She visited children's hospitals, food banks, and community shelters, discovering a softer side of the powerful businessman the world never saw. Instead of seeking attention, Adrian preferred helping people anonymously. Watching grateful families smile because of his generosity slowly changed the way she saw him. The walls around her heart began to crack, though she fought against the unfamiliar warmth growing inside her. Then everything changed in a single afternoon. A former business partner responsible for destroying Marisol's father's company returned with one final scheme. Determined to reclaim hidden assets, he threatened to expose fabricated scandals unless Marisol agreed to publicly leave Adrian and hand over confidential company information. The lies spread rapidly across social media, reporters gathered outside their home, and strangers judged her without knowing the truth. Once again, she felt trapped by circumstances beyond her control. Believing she was protecting Adrian's reputation, Marisol quietly packed her belongings before sunrise. She planned to disappear before the scandal could damage his company. As she reached the front door carrying a single suitcase, Adrian stepped into the hallway. Morning sunlight streamed through the glass entrance, casting long golden shadows across the polished floor. For the first time since their wedding, the usually composed businessman looked genuinely afraid of losing someone. He walked toward her slowly, took the marriage contract from her hands, and calmly tore every page into pieces. The paper drifted across the floor like falling leaves. Then he gently held her trembling hands and whispered, "You're mine." Those words carried no control, no ownership, and no demand. They carried protection, commitment, and unconditional love. At that moment, Marisol finally understood that he had never wanted a contract. He had wanted the chance to protect the woman whose kindness had quietly transformed his own lonely heart. Adrian revealed the truth he had hidden from everyone. Years earlier, when he was an unknown young entrepreneur struggling to survive, Marisol's father had secretly helped him after seeing his determination. The financial assistance came without publicity or expectations. Adrian had spent years trying to repay that kindness. When he learned the Hayes family was collapsing because of betrayal, he created the marriage contract not to buy a wife, but to rescue their dignity without making them feel like charity cases. He believed Marisol deserved the freedom to leave once her family was safe, even if it meant losing the woman he had silently fallen in love with. Tears filled Marisol's eyes as she realized every thoughtful gesture, every quiet sacrifice, and every act of protection had come from genuine love rather than obligation. The wall she had built around her heart finally disappeared. She no longer saw a cold businessman standing before her. She saw a man who understood that true love is shown through actions long before words are spoken. Together they faced the false accusations, exposed the corruption that had destroyed her father's company, and restored justice for countless innocent employees who had suffered because of greed. The family business slowly recovered, but something even more valuable had already been restored. Hope returned to a family that believed everything was lost. If this story has touched your heart so far, please like this video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise so more people can discover stories that remind us kindness still exists in this world. Before we reach the ending, please tell us in the comments, do you believe true love is proven by actions rather than words? Months later, on another beautiful sunny morning, Marisol stood beside Adrian in a peaceful botanical garden surrounded by blooming flowers instead of lawyers, contracts, and fear. This time there were no signatures waiting to be written and no obligations to fulfill. There were only two people choosing each other freely. The contract that once represented sacrifice had been replaced by trust, respect, and genuine love. Marisol smiled brighter than she ever had before because she finally understood that sometimes life leads us through painful chapters only to introduce us to the people who heal what we thought could never be repaired. And in the end, she discovered that the strongest promise is never written on paper. It is quietly kept every single day by someone who chooses to stand beside you, no matter what tomorrow brings.